Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Anita Lee. It's good to have you with us. Coming up, Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team provides food and medical assistance to quake survivors at a Thai monastery in Nepal. The Tzu Chi Foundation hosted its first Buddha Day ceremony in Nepal and was attended by 200 Nepalese monks. Lastly, we meet a group of volunteers from Taiwan who work behind the scenes to ensure the success of the Buddha Day ceremonies here. Recently, Tzu Chi provided food for Muni Vihar, a Thai monastery that took in over 70 quake survivors despite sustaining damage itself. On May 14th, volunteers returned with doctors to host a free clinic for survivors and nearby residents. Knowing that free medical services were being provided, many residents hurried to secure a spot early in the morning.
Here in Nepal, Tzu Chi Disaster Relief and Medical Team are conducting a first-ever free clinic at the historic Thai monastery, Muni Vihar.
Yesterday, we delivered rice to the monastery and communicated with the person in charge that we will arrange for doctors to visit today to conduct a free clinic.
Patients old and young are all glad to see a doctor. News of the free clinic quickly spread by word of mouth. In less than 1 hour, 70 nearby residents showed up. Though there have been fewer trauma wounds lately, conditions such as colds, fever, and muscle aches have increased.
We might need to start educating the residents here on sanitation. Otherwise, influenza might become a problem. Because with the upcoming monsoon season and the humid temperatures, viral infections are easily spread from one to another.
Upon hearing that a charity organization would be holding a free clinic, this resident, wearing a purple shirt, came forth to contribute his share to the medical services, assisting doctors as best as he could.
We have got good coordination, so people are very happy to see you in here, and we expect a lot of things, and we have got food and like that, so we especially thanks to all of you. Tzu Chi.
The mobile medical team not only wants to alleviate quake survivors' ailments, but also look forward to recruiting more local volunteers to join their ranks. Meanwhile, local residents have been trying to get their lives back to normal after the quake. Mothers bathe their children and do laundry by the water container on the street. Then afterwards, hang their clothes to dry on the wire fences on the side.
We are living in a groups.
Volunteers visit Sabina's home and find that her family of 6 has lived in this small tent for the past 2 weeks.
It's not great to living here. We are forced to live here before from 1 month. We don't know.
Not 1 meter away from the outdoor bathing area, Nepal's military personnel are still cleaning up the quake debris. Those who have taken refuge inside Muni Vihar Thai monastery still currently rely on outside assistance for their livelihood.
One really needs to spend time to get to know the details of the situation. We are not here to flaunt our charitable giving, but to spread the message that there are more people here still in need of assistance.
Hands together, Muni Vihar's Dharma masters lead quake survivors in prayer in hopes that Nepal can rebuild from the ashes as soon as possible.
In 1934, Nepal experienced an 8.0 magnitude earthquake that devastated the entire region. Although many residents managed to rebuild their homes, they seemingly failed to construct with materials suitable to withstand massive earthquakes. This is a contributing factor to the devastation that 2 recent earthquakes inflicted on the country.
How can a building over 100 years old stay intact after experiencing 2 strong tremors? It doesn't. This home is barely habitable. They're scared to be indoors, but these residents have no choice, as this building is not only where Prayapati lives, but also where the family makes a living by producing ceramic items. During the day, they come by to work and also rest a bit. This home was rebuilt by Prayapati's father in the aftermath of the 1934 Nepal earthquake. But affected by the 2 recent earthquakes, it seemingly needs to be rebuilt once more.
This entire building has become too dangerous to live in. There are cracks on the wall that are large enough to fit my hand, but the homeowners still risk their lives by living here. It's a very precarious situation.
The buildings in Bhaktapur are mostly constructed out of a combination of thin steel, cement, and bricks, often not meeting the earthquake-resistant standards. The massive devastation this time is not only due to natural causes, but also faults in the infrastructure.
Firstly, the house was on the first earthquake, the house was just a crack, but on the second earthquake, the house was fully destroyed.
After enduring 2 major earthquakes, the homes here in Bhaktapur have completely crumbled or are on the verge of crumbling. Many residents are afraid to stay indoors, so often people gather outdoors during the day and sleep in tent communities at night.
But the humid tents are not a permanent solution for these residents.
I need cement, steel, bricks, pipes, and wood in order to fix my home.
Looking to rebuild their homes, local residents not only appreciate the love that has poured in from all over the world, but also hope to recover from this devastation as soon as possible.
On May 10th, Tzu Chi hosted a Buddha Day ceremony in Nepal and were joined by 200 Nepalese monks who came to honor the occasion. They gifted volunteers with a gold Buddha statue to show their appreciation for all of Tzu Chi's efforts in their country. Dressed in red robes and bowing humbly at the Buddha's feet, 200 Nepalese monks expressed their deepest reverence to the Enlightened One. Having survived the earthquake, these monks attended the event with hearts full of gratitude. But they have also come to realize that Mother Nature is a force to reckon with and should be respected.
We have to make an environmental world, so we have to help clean the environment and don't use plastic and don't make much pollution, so we can save our Mother Earth.
The cornerstone of the Buddhist teachings is that all that exists is impermanent. Bringing medical assistance and relief to this quake-torn land, volunteers also came across those whose love and compassion extends to all sentient beings.
We are practicing every morning, every evening. We are having puja here, so that's for all benefits for all sentient beings. So we are always trying to benefits for all sentient beings. So it's such a great for us that because we got a great chance to helping for all sentient beings.
As a token of their appreciation and gratitude for all the work Tzu Chi has done for the Nepalese, Buddhist monks presented volunteers with a gold Buddha statue on behalf of the Galwang Drukpa.
Tzu Chi volunteers are following in the Buddha's footsteps and displaying the Buddha's spirit of great compassion and great empathy. We Buddhists in Nepal are also striving to do the same. We are all following the same teacher, and there is no difference between us.
God bless Nepal. May those affected by the disaster rebuild their homes and lives soon and get through these difficult times.
Gracing the event with his presence is Nepal's former Minister of Science and Technology, Kaseb, who has witnessed how Tzu Chi volunteers assisted his quake-torn country in the immediate aftermath of the quake.
1 million families are affected, and Tzu Chi has come with their kind heart and compassionate. And this Bhaktapur, where Tzu Chi has been working in the district, is the most affected.
Sharing the same sentiment, Kaseb's brother, Dharma Master Anil, and his friend Pravin paid Master Zhenyan a visit in Hualien, Taiwan in March of this year.
When Pravin visited the master in Hualien, he decided to follow the master and vowed to shoulder Tzu Chi's missions. It's unimaginable that just following his meeting with the master, and after he had attained her blessing at the end of March, such a devastating earthquake occurred in Nepal.
In the aftermath of the earthquake, Dharma Master Anil and Pravin joined Tzu Chi volunteers on the front lines to help their countrymen.
You are standing with all the victims. You are empathizing with the victims and doing everything, whatever you can.
Commemorating Buddha Day in the birthplace of the Buddha, Tzu Chi volunteers and the people of Nepal pray for peace and strength to help them endure the days ahead. The Buddha Day ceremony at Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall on May 10th was followed by a concert to celebrate Mother's Day. Many celebrities brought their mothers to join in the celebration, while those in the audience were reminded to practice filial piety before it's too late.
The Tzu Chi concert to show gratitude to mothers attracted nearly 16,000 people to the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall.
The message we want to spread today is for the children to understand the difficulty of being a parent and how much effort is involved in bringing up children. A blade of grass and a drop of dew signifies that there is a path for everyone. The song is educational as well as inspirational.
Together, the musical and the sign language song performance by the young volunteers of the Jingsi Books and Cafe helped spread the message about fulfilling one's filial piety.
This concert is very meaningful. It reminds us that as sons and daughters, we should spend more time with our parents. Otherwise, it might be too late.
This Mother's Day concert not only moved those in the audience, but also brought many parents and children closer together. During the performance, those in the audience began to reflect on whether they had practiced filial piety towards their mothers instead of just talking about it.
We need to think about whether or not we have really done enough for our mothers. Have we fulfilled our filial duty toward her?
Another audience member wanted to accompany his mother to the event despite being injured. Meanwhile, earlier in the day, Jingwen rehearsed for her parts in the celebration. Afterwards, she met up with her mother before the performance began.
There's a part of the lyrics that's really beautiful. Time spent together is really the most beautiful, fortunate gift. So companionship is really important.
Listening to her daughter sing, Jingwen's mother is moved to tears.
I'm really moved because whenever I hear her sing this song, it reminds me of how filial and sweet she is towards me.
It was only when Huang Yiling became a mother herself that she came to fully understand the selfless love parents have for their children.
Slowly, my parents are getting older and walking is more difficult for them. That's when I realized that they have given up their entire life for their children.
Sun Cui-feng, head of the Taiwanese opera group Ming Hua Yuan, and her 94-year-old mother joined the celebration and sang parts from the Chinese legend, The Butterfly Lovers.
When I think of the more sad parts of the legend, I cry because Inkai and Sambo's separation makes me sad.
With the added participation of the celebrities, the Mother's Day celebration really filled the night with warmth and heart that is sure to last for years to come.
Behind the Buddha Day celebrations in Taiwan are numerous unsung heroes who dedicated their time and effort to ensure the ceremonies ran smoothly. Among them are 2 elderly volunteers from Pingdong who have been cooking for their counterparts. But first, we take a look at how 2 volunteers in Tainan took up cooking and stage building tasks in spite of their frail health.
It's dirty and needs to be cleaned. We will clean it and then lift it.
Coordinating the volunteers with a clear mind, Chen Mingbing is in charge of building the ceremonial stage. Assembling the ceremonial stage looks easy, but requires much work. For Chen, who undergoes dialysis treatment 3 times a week, it's tough work.
I'd be lying to say I'm not tired, but I have a firm resolve. I will rest after the ceremony.
Wang Cui-xing is another dedicated volunteer. She underwent surgery for uterine prolapse in April, but still took up the task of cooking for nearly 2,000 people on Buddha Day. Wang Cuixing allocated culinary tasks to other volunteers, hoping more people could feel the joy of serving others.
My health is a small personal matter. The master taught us not to hinder ourselves with health problems.
Overcoming ailments to serve others, these two volunteers hope their efforts will help bring harmony to our society. Turning to Kaohsiung, at 10 o'clock in the morning, 72-year-old Lü Hou Yuchan showed up and cut the vegetables skillfully.
Coming here, I let go of my worries about my family and children.
By 5:30 p.m., Lü Hou Yuchan goes to do recycling at an elementary school near her home, where she first learned about Tzu Chi.
When I do recycling, my son can come to interact with people and learn to sort recyclables.
Lü Hou's son suffers from depression and is a stroke victim, so she has to care for him and two grandchildren since her husband passed away. When she fell into despair, Tzu Chi volunteers inspired her to join their ranks. Bowing to the Buddha, Lü Hou Yuchan takes part in the Buddha Day ceremony for the third year. Seeing the progress of her son, Lü Hou says she found hope for a better future. Moving to Pingdong, at the Buddha Day ceremony held at Yanpu Liaison Office, the participants were reminded of their filial duties and encouraged to show gratitude towards their parents. The seniors were overjoyed as their children served tea and cakes to them.
I'm glad to be here today. My two daughters fed me cakes and served me tea.
To prepare tea and cakes, kitchen volunteer Chen Yuzhu came early in the morning. Another volunteer, 84-year-old Zheng Wu Yuying, has also been volunteering here for many years. So Zheng's daughter, Zheng Meiren, is grateful to her mother.
Young people usually don't have time to volunteer, so I appreciate these two senior volunteers.
Zheng Meiren served tea to her mother to thank her for extending the motherly love to all the people here.
To celebrate Mother's Day, many people tend to treat their mother to a nice meal or purchase gifts as a token of their appreciation. However, there are some who do not have the means to do so. To help their care recipients celebrate the occasion, Tzu Chi volunteers purchase baked goods by other charity organizations that take care of the disadvantaged.
I feel a sense of accomplishment when I have the means to feed my family.
Independence is a dream through which many people with learning disabilities yearn. Focusing on his task is 37-year-old Awen, a pastry chef with over 12 years of experience. It took him 7 to 8 years to master the perfect dough.
Awen can only do one thing at a time. He gets distracted when I give him two tasks to do at the same time.
Flipping through his notebook, one can see pages full of baking tips. As many people with learning disabilities like Awen have difficulty focusing and remembering details, they have to put in extra effort.
Awen is a very hard-working person. He often stayed behind after work to practice making dough when he first came here.
We often joke around saying that when we taught people with learning disabilities how to make something, they'd forget about it the next day. Determination is something that keeps us going. We never give up teaching, and they never give up learning.
After receiving professional training, people with learning disabilities can perform tasks such as packaging baked goods and handling a cash register on their own. The support from society gives these people a chance to work. 60% of the income from the Children RS Foundation comes from operating bakeries and restaurants. 25% of the revenue comes from donations and 15% from government subsidy.
By purchasing Mother's Day cakes from us, the Tzu Chi Foundation is giving people with learning disabilities a chance to work. The volunteers can also take care of other needy families when they give the cakes to them.
Before Mother's Day, trucks from Children R Us bakeries travel across Taiwan, delivering boxes of delicious homemade cakes to support charity organizations like Children R Us Foundation. Tzu Chi has been purchasing baked goods during holidays over the years as gifts for its care recipients.
When we make a purchase, the most important point is to encourage people with learning disabilities to keep up their good work. We hope to build up their confidence and inspire the public to pay attention to the needy.
Tzu Chi volunteers believe that these homemade Mother's Day gifts can bring a sense of warmth and happiness to their care recipients.
In Hebei Township, Zhanghua, Mr. Wu has been working odd jobs to support his ill parents. After he fell ill himself about a month ago, however, the family suddenly found itself without an income. When the public learned of the story, donations in the form of cash and supplies quickly arrived. Tzu Chi has also taken the family under its wing. Tzu Chi volunteers have once again returned to this home in Hebei, Zhanghua with supplies. The 78-year-old mother of the home is bedridden with stage 4 cervical cancer and needs chemotherapy every day.
My son is really filial. He is always at my side, helping me to the bathroom or whatever.
The father of the home suffers from Parkinson's disease and diabetes, so it is up to the son, who can only find odd jobs, to take care of the rent and the enormous medical bills.
At the time, my limbs just went numb, so I couldn't work. I had no idea what had happened. Without work, I had no money left.
Suffering from sciatica and a lumbar herniated disc, Mr. Wu could no longer work to support his family. At one point, the family only had 1 dime left. After learning of their plight, Tzu Chi volunteers immediately arrived with emergency cash.
We hope to stabilize their life for now so that he can fully devote his time and energy to his mom and help her with chemotherapy and radiation therapy.
Besides Tzu Chi, many kind-hearted people also came to offer their assistance to the family.
I think there is no more need for cash donation. They have plenty now. Resources should be redirected to others in need as well.
The family currently has enough supplies and cash thanks to the kindness of society. So Mr. Wu has asked the borough magistrate to let the public know to redirect their donations to others in need. Tzu Chi volunteers will continue to visit, though, to give the family their support. In Nepal, the SMD boarding school founded by Chanku Rinpoche in Kathmandu sustained serious damage after the earthquake and was no longer safe to live in. Thus, the school pitched tents on open ground on campus for children to sleep in. Concerned about the children's well-being, Tzu Chi volunteers paid the school a visit to understand its needs. Thank you for watching. See you next week.